go into our block. We're going to take a look at how these affect each one. So let's go ahead and start with the first one. This is going to be a trigger brush. A trigger event brush means its behavior will be applied to another object if it's triggered. So to set one up, let's place in one more block. Actually, we'll put 2 blocks in, and we'll place a player in here. On the block that we had to start with, we're going to place the trigger event brush onto this block. So now we're going to be able to, based on a trigger event from this one, tell this one to do something. Alright, so in order to do that, we need to go to our trigger settings. We're going to make sure that the trigger setting is enabled. It's going to be by player. We'll go into our trigger state, and we're going to say that when you go onto the trigger object, you're going to turn the event on, and when we leave the object, we can turn the event off. When you go into the trigger range, this is going to say that when you cross this box, we'll make it a little bit smaller here. When you cross onto this box, you've entered it, sending the message to this one to tell it to do something. Alright, let's click on the orange button and go back. In order to use the trigger event with this on this block now, if I click on it, I now get a new panel. Notice this new panel pops up, and it lets me know that if I click on this one, it's telling me that this one is attached, and that you can trigger, if it's triggered, it has these states to trigger with. We'll click on the trigger enter option. When you click on the trigger enter option, you'll notice that you now have red buttons come up on here. Red button means no animation. If you click on the red button, it turns green. It means it's animating that property for you. It's setting a keyframe. Alright. I'm going to go over to my position, rotation, scale button. We'll click on our, so we can see it do something, we'll click on our scale left and right, and we will say that when you enter the box, we'll scale it up to 20. And then when you leave the box, we'll say you scale it to back down to 10. Right. To get out of this mode, you can just click on the button here to take it back down. We can click on the orange button to get out of it. When you push play, you'll now go from, so the trigger is right here. So when I go to the trigger, the box goes bigger. When I leave the trigger, the box goes back. Alright, so that's going to be your basic setup with the first brush. This one is probably one of the most complicated in terms of usage, but it is also one of the core elements to creating future gameplay and pieces that normally, it's sort of like the code side. It's going to allow you to create events based on elements inside the game.